Nevada Judge Jumper, featuring Deobra Redden. Full name, Deobra Delone Redden. Crimes and sprees. Deobra was famously known to jump on Clark County Court Judge Mary Kay Holthus on 2024. Whether if he intended to do it as a crime or not is highly unlikely. Anyways, aside from the huge swan dive he committed, he was known to be involved in other crimes. Specifically dating back on 2011, he was known to be involved in crimes such as 3 felonies and 9 misdemeanors conviction. In April of 2023, it was reported Deobra had attacked his brother-in-law with a baseball bat. He invaded houses, he had robbed grocery shops, and had a strong history of violence both when he was a young boy and an adult man. Which means in recent years he had done violence. Other than Judge Mary Kay Holthus, Deobra was recorded on attacking officers, public officers, and a prisoner, and strangers on the street. It was known Deobra had attempted to steal the financial wealth from residents in Clark County, Nevada. Overall, while not murder, Deobra's crimes were filled with violence and failed attempts. Investigation. Unlike other serial killers or figures from other episodes in Shadow Archives, for the case of Deobra, there was no major investigation. The officers and authorities had glanced at the security cameras, and with the delay of proceedings, they arrested Deobra. In some sources, it was noted Deobra had kicked an officer's groinal area, which means testicles. Trial and court proceedings. One of his famous crimes, in fact, occurred during his trial and court proceedings, which is the jump on the judge. Before the jump, he was in court for the assault with a deadly weapon towards his brother-in-law. Deobra had claimed he deserved a second chance in life. However, the judge took a pause, looked over his history. When looking at his records, it was discovered he was before charged with 12 consecutive times, leading to the judge noticing Deobra did not stay out of trouble. In matter of fact, caused the conflicts himself. Judge Holthus did not accept the request from Deobra, so she charged Deobra with assault, originally leading to a 4-year sentence in prison. However, Deobra did not like the sound of that, which led him to do a Superman jump on Judge Holthus during the attack. During the attack, her law clerk, Michael Lasso, had punched Deobra in order to protect the judge. Other than Mike, the Courtroom Marshall Shane Brandon had suffered severe injuries, including dislocated shoulder, a bleeding gash on his forehead, and several minor bruises. Judge Holthus, while did not have any bleeding or bruising, she had reported she suffered from severe dislocated shoulder. In addition, she lost some of her hair due to the fact Deobra had brutally pulled a major part of her scalp during the attack. It was shown on the video during the attack. Deobra had punched both Judge Holthus, Mike Lasso, and Shane Brandon. Trial and court proceedings, Part 2. During the attack, Deobra did not have any weapons on his hands. He would use his bare hands and attack both the judge and the surrounding people. Days after the assault on jumping, Judge Holthus had returned to the bench to finish the sentencing regardless of her medical condition. Deobra appeared in the courtroom, heavily shacked, wearing a mesh spit hood and orange mitts. The 4-year sentence took in place. However, Deobra would have to attend another court case related to the incident of him doing the Superman dive on Judge Holthus. On December of 2024, basically 11 months after the attack, there was a court trial regarding the incident of Deobra jumping on Judge Holthus. Other than Judge Mary Kay Holthus, her law clerk, Michael Lasso had attended as a witness. Deobra, during that court, did not show up wearing the protection gear. He would casually show up with his lawyers with a dark blue suit. Deobra would deny he was a bad person or an evil person. However, the court would agree he was mentally unstable. Despite that condition, at the end of the court proceedings, Deobra would be charged for the jump, specifically being sentenced to an aggregated prison term of 26 years to 65 years in prison. Deobra will have the chance to get parole, reportedly, though it requires to be at least after the year of 2050. Childhood. The childhood of Deobra was deeply dysfunctional, unstable, and much spent his childhood life dealing with trauma in the foster care system. It was reported when his biological mother was pregnant, she would consume many drugs, such as cocaine. In addition, she would drink heavy alcohol. Even after Deobra was born, his biological parents were deeply dysfunctional and did not properly take care of him, leading him to be placed under the care of foster care. It was reported him and his siblings had a decent relationship with their foster mother, Karen Springer. His foster mother had to move reportedly several times to different homes and locations. In addition, she had to witness the unstable mental condition Deobra had carried. Deobra had claimed he would often see spirits or demons as a child, having hallucinations in other words. In medical terms, he had a schizoid personality type. He believed he was in constant danger, being hunted by everyone around him. In addition, voices seemed to have repeated in his head, apparently telling him he has to hunt down everyone. Whenever he saw red, which he claimed to have seen in Judge Mary Kay Holthus during the attack, his mental condition had seemingly made his school life heavily difficult to handle with. In addition, it was reported whenever he would be in a crowded area, which means school for this term, he would have a strong mental reaction along with hallucinations and a schizoid reaction. Childhood Part 2. Due to his untreated paranoid schizophrenia, Deobra had dropped out of school and never received his high school diploma or GED. Before the attack on the judge for his case, Deobra had claimed to desire to fix his education life and adjust it, specifically to enroll in a blue-collar job training program. He likely was bullied for his condition based on the information from sources. Overall, the childhood of Deobra was deeply dysfunctional, especially from his mental condition, having similar traits with serial killer Richard Trenton Chase, who was dubbed the Dracula of Sacramento. Personal life, potentially affecting their crimes and acts. When Deobra turned into an adult, despite the struggles, his foster mother, Karen Springer, and his older sister, LaDonna Daniels, had seemingly supported him. Even during the trial, they had supported him. They would even attend some of the news interviews. Due to the crimes in his record, along with his mental conditions, it was difficult for him to apply for employment, which led to him becoming jobless. Despite the endless attempts to get a job and secure his education, he was held in jail several times due to his inability to stay out of trouble, in addition his contribution for criminal acts. All his life, including childhood and personal life, Deobra would be forced to have a long life psychiatric battle with his schizophrenia condition and bipolar disorder. Pivotal events. Deobra Redden was reportedly born in 1993 due to the fact he was 31 years old when he received his sentence back in 2024. On 1993, Deobra would be exposed to drugs as a small child, really a baby. From 2011 to 2012, Deobra would be arrested several times upon turning 18 years old. Deobra had claimed on 2012 he had suffered from hallucinations and would see spirits, which is his schizoid personality. On September of 2021, Deobra had attempted to commit home invasion. On April 2023, Deobra had shown an outburst, leading to him using a baseball bat and attempted to commit battery towards his brother-in-law. On January 3, 2024, Deobra had done the infamous swan dive on Judge Mary Kay Holthus in Nevada's Clark County. On December 10, 2024, Deobra was sentenced to prison for at least 26 years, though in maximum 65 years. On March 2026, 1 year basically after Deobra was sent to prison, the High Court shown an outburst towards his defense attorney Carl Arnold for not protecting from Deobra doing the swan dive. Quotes from Deobra Redden. So basically, I would like to tell the court and everyone here. So basically, based on my history, like I feel that like I shouldn't be sent to prison for a second time, and I actually have just I looked at it. I just lived it, yeah. Yeah, I just figured like that like I'm in a better place in my mind, my mental health. I have a support system. I just got a higher team score for, the union. Like I made $20 an hour. And like the reason behind every single domestic violence, I have been dealing with this mental health. I didn't know that I was doing it. They put me in a mental health course and I still didn't know I had mental health problems until it was like August 2022 that I realized I had a problem with this. I feel like I shouldn't be sent to prison, but if it's appropriate for you, then you got to do what you gotta do. But I figured that if I'm in a better place in my life, like I'm not doing drugs. Quotes, Part 2, from Deobra Redden. I'm not going after the community or like I'm not committing crimes. Like I should be given a shot because I'm in a better place now than I was. And so I'm a person that never stops trying to do the right thing no matter how hard it is. No, that. He then would proceed to jump on Judge Mary Kay Holthus. You punk! I was having a bad day. I did not intend to kill Judge Mary Kay Holthus. Judge Johnson, I don't understand why the state is really going after my character. I mean, I have always had problems since I was a little kid of like psychosis and being in big crowds and always feeling like my life is in danger. I didn't know being a young person, even middle school, elementary school, knowing that I fear for my safety. I'm just being me, going to school, growing up, to do the right things. I never get tired of trying to do the right things, and the state just said that I have no. Quotes from Deobra Redden, Part 3. Hold on, what is it? Oh, no remorse. Like, I feel like Judge Johnson, she doesn't know me. I understand she's doing her job, and I'm not mad at her for that, but I know I'm not a bad person. And I'm thinking like she knows that but I'm sitting here like she's doing her job, And I believe you all know I'm not a bad person. I'm not an evil person. When I came to court on January 3rd, 2024, I was listening to music. I was in a good mood. I had a stable place to stay. I was trying to get a job. I did not catch any new charges. I'm not a bad person. I don't understand why the state is trying to prove me as a bad person. I understand they have a job to do, but this is just, it's not right to me, I'm not an evil guy, and I just keep going after me. I see spirits. I hear voices. I've been this for over a decade now, really. Since 2012, you know? Quotes. Part 4 from Deobra Redden. In 2022, I came to prison for the first time. I accepted my responsibility for my action. When I did what I did, I committed a crime in 2020 of December. It was 4 years ago. I paid my debt to society. I got out thinking I'm going to work. I was really sick and ill. I was very malnourished. I don't complain about things. I don't point the blame when people have done me wrong. I still treat everybody right, and the state just stated that I have no remorse and they feel like I'm a bad person. I just don't understand why are they coming after me like this, but I understand they have a job to do. When I came to court, I know for a fact to Miss Johnson, I cared, met Judge Holthus in 2023 of October, and you know what she told me when she revoked my probation? She said, Mr. Redden, I hope you get the help you truly need. I said, thank you so much, and I meant it. I know for a fact I'm not an evil person. I think all of you guys know that, you know? Quotes from Deobra Redden, Part 5. I don't want to be known as a person who has mental illness because those people get attacked. I have heard so many people who have mental illness commit suicide, kill themselves, and commit things they really don't mean because they get attacked. This is not right to me, but like I said, I know the state has a job to do, and basically what I am saying is I know I cared about Mary Kay Holthus, to make long story short. I saw nothing but red, and I heard her say, I think it's time for a taste of something else. I saw nothing but red, and I don't remember doing anything except for jumping on top of her and doing this to her robe. I was like, why are you doing this to me? That's what I wanted to ask her if I knew myself, but I'm not really sure. That's the only thing I could come up with. I had 11 months, I can't really come up with anything, but I know I cared about Judge Mary Kay Holthus's well-being. You know, that's all. Thank you. Forensic inferences. The case of Deobra Redden was heavily influenced by his mental illness and medical condition. While Deobra had known the difference between right and wrong, it's likely before this he never received the help in a way he required. In addition, his brain likely got influenced by his mother's early drug use during her pregnancy. He likely has actually a good shape physically due to the fact he jumped literally at least a meter to get up Judge Mary Kay Holthus' seat. Even from the public, a lot of them agreed Deobra, if he went to another direction, he might have been part of the Olympics. Anyways, the amount of transferring in his life likely created a sense of unstable inside of the mind of Deobra. In addition, he likely never was educated properly, therefore he could not learn how to stop himself regardless if he knew what was right and wrong. It's likely throughout his life he developed a sense of short temper, adding another sense of difficulty on controlling his emotions. In his mind, when the judge announced his sentence, he felt shattered likely, but that shatter turned into a rage, leading him to commit a swan dive on Judge Holthus. There is a high chance while not committing to it, he desired to jump on the Judge Johnson during his sentence for the major assault. He likely did not get along with anyone well during his school life. In addition, he was rejected from many jobs, giving a sense of isolation. Overall, the life of Deobra was tragic and seemingly did not receive the help he needed or required. Legacy and impact. The case of Deobra Redden is considered the most chaotic and violent cases in Nevada's court, aside from the serial killer cases. This case of Deobra showed the vulnerability judges have and carry in court, especially working with a violent client. Judges have feared this exact moment, whether if it could occur in their cases or not. People seem to have respect the level of jump Deobra put effort into when he did the swan dive. People connect the case of Deobra to serial killer Ted Bundy for their personality reasons. Till this day, there's a systemic failure towards the people who carry mental illnesses.